Hello there, Davy Herrera here, the Market Center Tech Trainer for the Level 5 Leadership of Offices. Today, we are going to talk about Smart Plans, Smarter Business, maximizing engagement and efficiency. So before we begin, don't forget to make sure you are complying with the TCPA Act. It is from $500 to $1,500 per violation. So make sure you're checking before you make that mistake. What are we going to learn today? The introduction to Smart Plans, how to create and customize Smart Plans, and automating your follow-up processes. So before we begin, it's super important to understand that your marketing profile is where a lot of the information is going to pull from. So when it comes to any emails created, it could be anything on your website as well as your KW app. It's all pulling from your Market Center profile or your marketing profile, excuse me. And that is found within Command, clicking on your name at the top right, going to Settings. On the left, you hit Connect Settings and Marketing Profile. Make sure you update that and hit save at the bottom. A little intro to Smart Plan. So a KW Smart Plan is a digital marketing tool that automates business tasks and nurtures leads for your real estate business. It's an applet within the KW Command CRM that works with other applications to help agents create custom task checklists, set phone call reminders, automatic email and text messages, as well as running drip campaigns. So a couple things to know when you're going to create a smart plan is you can add and remove steps, you can add tasks, insert simple emails or HTML emails, sending text messages, as well as tasks. When creating the smart plan, it could be as short as 1 day or it can go up to a year. So when creating a custom smart plan, there are several actions that you can take, which we mentioned above. In order to create a smart plan, you log into Command, you go to the left-hand side, and you click on the Smart Plans applet. Once you click on the applet, you're going to see a Create option to the far right. Now, I do want to mention that we are also going to talk a little bit about the library, and we're going to jump into that shortly. Once you've hit that create button, to start from scratch, you got to make sure that you're naming your smart plan. Now, be very intentional with the name that you're going to choose. In this particular example, it's a lead follow-up. So make sure that you're doing whether it's a buyer lead, a listing lead, be specific. So that way, as you tag and add, you know how to communicate to that audience. Once you are inside of the dashboard for creating a smart plan, you can add different days, again, up to 365 of them, and tasks within each of those days or steps, as we'd like to call them. So on the left, find where you want to add a new day, then click add. And then when you're ready to add a step, find it on the left-hand side and click to drag it into the box. There are 5 steps that you can add. Once you add the step, you'll need to configure and save that step on the right side of the page before you continue. So you can create a task, make a call, send an email, send a text, and hit add to Smart Plan. And we'll go over all 5 of those now. Creating a task. So entering the task name, selecting whether this is a touch task using the checkbox. Now, a touch task is going to be like a phone call or a text message. You have the ability to use the add merge tag dropdown below the task name field, which gives you the ability to have contact specific information in the task name, such as contact first name, contact last name. So the next one we are going to jump into. In continuation to the creating task, and this is for almost every single step that you can do, you have the option to set a hyperlink. So in this example, it gives you a Google Doc. So let's say you enter information somewhere else and you do a spreadsheet or something like that, you can enter the hyperlink and the task will give you the link for you to click and do whatever task you need to do within that spreadsheet. You can also set your priority level. I want you guys to think of what your top 20% is. And if this particular task is not part of that top 20%, meaning, is it a lead generation activity? So are you making a phone call? Are you texting? So if it's not a touch task, I would say it's really not a high priority. Make sure you do medium and low as well. Not everything is high. You want to make sure that you know how to prioritize. So the next thing that you have as far as a step that you can do is making a call. So entering the task name and select whether this is a touch task using the checkbox. Now you have the ability to use the add merge just like you did in the task option, where it can give you contact first name, last name, phone number, that kind of thing. Now be very careful if you're going to use merge tags when it comes to email or text, because if you don't have their name properly inputted into the system, they will receive it with the typo or whatever information you have listed for them. All right. Sorry, that's a duplicate. Okay. So the next thing that you can do in a make a call task is, when is the task due? So selecting how you want the due date of the task to be handled. Once the task populates, use the dropdown to select when it should be due. So you can either do it from the same day to 14 days after. And then select what time you want the task to be due. So by default, tasks are due at 11:59 p.m., but you can uncheck the all day checkbox and adjust this as needed. All right, so emails. So the next one we're going to get into is emails, and Smartplans use command email to send our emails automatically. So the email service is free and you get up to 5,000 emails per month, and it can be expanded for a cost. If you reach your command email limit and upgrade your command email subscription in the middle of a Smartplan email, any email that was supposed to trigger but failed will not be retired. The failure will be written to the contact timeline and the Smartplan will move on to the next step. So basically, if you failed because there was some sort of a limit situation and you upgraded, that particular step will just be living in the past and it will move on to the next step. All right, so when you are going to create the email step, you have two different email types. You have simple, which is here, or designs. Now, simple looks like it came just from your regular Gmail email. Designs is going to be more of that newsletter style with the images and all that kind of thing. So what happens when a client unsubscribes from your Smartplan email? So there's a couple of points here. When a contact unsubscribes from an email that came from a Smartplan, they are unsubscribed from that specific Smartplan's emails. They also have the option to unsubscribe from all marketing emails that come from an agent. If you add them to a different Smartplan, they will get those emails and have to unsubscribe from that specific Smartplan. The unsubscribe on the email is specific to the Smartplan it was part of. So for example, if a client unsubscribes from the monthly neighborhood nurture, they will not get any more emails from that specific Smartplan. However, if you have them on another plan or subscribe them to a new plan, they will get those emails from the different Smartplans. Now keep in mind, if they choose to unsubscribe from all of the marketing, then at that point, they no longer will receive any emails from you, no matter what Smartplan you add them to. Sending a text message. So TCPA, just like the phone call, and at this point, just like the email. So sending text, choose to send an automated text message from your Smartplan using Tulio, or create a text task. If you choose to create a text task, the workflow will be the same as the call section above. So basically what that means is, if you subscribe to the system, which for about 150 outgoing messages, it runs at about $3.56. If you don't subscribe to it, it will give you the option to do a text task. So you'll basically get a notification. So hopefully you have your command app downloaded. You'll get a notification on your phone telling you you have a new task. That task could be call Nancy. When you see that, it'll give you the information that you entered in here. If you see this section here, that text option, you can enter whatever you meant to write, copy it and paste it to the client. So it'll just come in as a text task. It won't go automatic. Now, I will say my opinion is if you can afford it, do it. I say go for it. I think it's a great investment for your business and it gives you a lot of leverage. As you create smart plans and add more people to them, I just want you guys to visualize, can you see yourself texting 100 people? I'm not sure. Okay, so with that, moving on. So what happens when a client unsubscribes from the smart plan text? So when a contact unsubscribes from Tulio text from a smart plan, they're only unsubscribed from the Tulio text. They're still subscribed to the smart plan. So any remaining non-text steps will go out. So for example, if the plan has a text and email step, if they unsubscribed from the text messaging, they will still get the following email. Now, keep in mind when a client unsubscribes from your text, they are unsubscribed from your Tulio number entirely. So this means they will not receive any further text from other smart plans or direct bulk texts. Now, the last option that you can do is what's called add to smart plan. And this is probably one of my favorite steps. So I want to just give you a scenario. You create this smart plan for an open house follow-up, right? A couple of buyers, potential buyers came in, they saw the properties, you want to make sure you're keeping in touch with them. Beautiful. Now your smart plan can have, let's say, 4 days worth of communication. Now, on day 5, you want to make sure that you hit that add to smart plan and add them to another smart plan. So that way, there's really no gap in how often you're going to stay top of mind. Now, one of my favorite smart plans to add people to at the end of every smart plan is one that's called Promote My App. Now, the Promote My App Smart Plan is about 3 steps. It's an email, a text message, and another email. And the emails are curated and the text message by Keller Williams International. Don't need to edit it, don't need to do anything with it because it's really just an email and a text message composed of, here's some information about the KW app, search for homes all over the country, download my app here. And it actually provides the client or the person in your database the actual link to your KW app. So I absolutely love this one. The goal is after you've done your first smart plan is to keep identifying what bucket these clients belong in. Are they investors? Are they sellers? Are they buyers? So on and so forth. So after you finish one smart plan, the goal is to move it on to something else. All right. Now, once you've added all of the steps, you added in all the dialogues you're going to be having for your phone call and your text messages, now you can manage the smart plan schedule. So once you've added a step to a day, you can click on the day card to take a few actions. At the top left of the card, you see the delay settings for that day. Click to select how many days should elapse after the previous step before the day launches. Once you make a change, you will see the day number change to reflect the new schedule. So if you see in the example on the right, it shows day 1, and then they put a delay of 4 days. So it shows on day 5, the next step will occur. Now you can click add step at the bottom left of the card to add another step to that day. Ensure the time of day settings line up correctly. You will see an error. Later time of day setting is set before a step with an earlier time of day setting. Within the day card, you can click and drag the steps to reorder them for that day. So I absolutely love that you can do multiple tasks in one day. So let's say you want to do an email and a text, or you want to do a phone call and an email. Whatever it is, you can add multiple things to one day, which is pretty cool. All right, so there are some really cool things that you can do within the smart plan, and you'll see the example on the next slide. But I want to talk to you about auto add rules. So these are to trigger a contact tag. So once you save a smart plan for the first time, you have the ability to add trigger contact tags. Once saved, any lead or contact that you add the tag to going forward will be automatically added to the smart plan. So I'll give you an example. You guys can read that if you want to, but the example is, let's say I have a buyer tag and I'm creating a lead follow-up smart plan. I can add the tag as a trigger tag. So anytime I add in a new client to the database and I tag them as a buyer, they automatically receive this buyer smart plan. So that is a great way to make sure that even if you forgot to add someone to the smart plan, if you've already added their tag, it'll trigger it and that person will automatically be added. And you'll see the example here. And on the left, it shows you in the auto add remove rules section at the bottom right of the screen. So that lives over here. You have auto add remove rules. Excuse me. Click add trigger tags, then select the tags you want to trigger and click add triggers. So again, it could be buyer, it could be seller. Once you have added the tags here, you can click edit to the right where it says add contact when tagged. Make changes to the selected tags and click apply changes. Next, we're going to talk about the auto removal. So in addition to the auto add, you have the ability to set conditions for contacts to be automatically removed from the smart plan. These conditions are set around whether the contact responds back to the communication via text or email that are being sent out automatically from the smart plan. These remove rules will only take effect if the contact responds to the smart plan communication. Receiving a text or email from the contact as a one-off will not trigger the removal. You will not receive a notification about a contact being removed from a smart plan in this way, but you will see the notification for the actual response. The best practice is to click to view the contact details in the timeline for a contact when they respond to you. You will see the timeline event for the response and the removal from the plan, where you can then take action from there. Publishing a smart plan to the shared library will remove all removal rules from the published version, which we'll talk about that later. And so again, that lives right under the add trigger tags. So it says remove contacts when, and you have the two options. Now I'll give you a scenario as to when that is actually a good idea. Is let's just say that open house smart plan. Let's say one of the text messages that you send out is, I have a few homes in the area near the open house that you attended last weekend. I would love to show them to you. Are you available? Now, if they respond to you, that's a great time to remove them from this smart plan and now add them to a buyer smart plan, because now we're moving on to the next step, hopefully, right? So that is just one example of when to use the remove contacts. All right. So when someone responds via email or text message, you are going to get a notification in your bell. Just keep in mind, any of the auto removals, those will not be, you won't get notified. You will only be notified of the responses that the client does. Okay. And that'll live right in your notification bell, and it'll look something like this. Okay, so once you are in the timeline of the contact that responded, you're going to notice on the right here, it tells you pretty much everything that's been done. So smart plan removed, an email was received, an email was sent, if there was a text message sent, if they look for property on your website and they've logged in, or on your app, you're also going to be able to see those things. If you have any tasks associated, you'll see that, as well as notes and opportunities. All right. So what I'm physically going to show in Command is the Smart Plan library. So within that same Smart Plans area, at the top, you're going to see a library option. That library option is going to be filled with different smart plans that have been published by either Keller Williams International or other KW leaders or agents. I am a firm believer in working smarter, not harder. So here are some recommended smart plans for you. Now, out of this list, 4 out of 5 of them are actually created and sent once you add people by Keller Williams International. Now, you have a birthday smart plan. That one It's composed of text message, phone call, and email. So you will have to do some legwork there. You have a neighborhood nurture. Now, that is an awesome neighborhood snapshot based on the neighborhood that you have entered for the client. You have a quarterly call plan. Now, if you joined me last week for the 36 touch and the different ways to do your database management, we talked about how you have to send out 24 emails, 4 phone calls, 4 client events, and 4 direct mails. So with that quarterly call plan, it basically just reminds you, hey, call this group of people. You have 10 Days of Love by Kimber Walton. Now, that smart plan is actually created by a leader over like in the West Coast of the United States. And it is an aggressive online lead generation smart plan. And it's actually one of my favorite because it's so generic and it's so easy to use. So I'm definitely going to show you that one in a little bit. You also have the Promote My App that I mentioned earlier in the call. That Promote My App is so easy and it's done for you. So these are just some good examples. All right, I'm going to go ahead and log in to Command. All right, so we're going to jump into that Smart Plans area. And if you click that red KW, you'll be able to see your list of different items. And I'm going to click Smart Plans. Once you click on Smart Plans and it takes you to the dashboard, if you've ever created something, it'll live right here. But if you haven't, you'll have nothing, and that's okay. So up here at the top, you have My Smart Plans, Library, and to the far right, you have that Create button. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd love to say that I'm a super creative person, but reinventing the wheel just sounds a little hard. So I'd rather jump into the library and type in something that I'm looking for. But before we do that, I want to just kind of show you how to navigate through this library. So first, you're going to find some featured smart plans. Now, these featured smart plans are actually going to be some of the top rated smart plans or the most used smart plans. So you can take a look at those. Now, if you do not see a red KW, that means that it was created by a leader or an agent. So just a heads up on that. Down here in the middle, sort of, you're going to find the Keller Williams smart plans. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click on the name Keller Williams, and it's going to bring up all 10 of the smart plans that they have created. Now, remember I mentioned the birthday smart plan. You also have a home anniversary that Promote My App. You have a monthly neighborhood nurture as well as a bi-weekly neighborhood nurture, which is right up here. An 8x8, which we also talked about last week. So that 8-week aggressive plan of going to the client's home or your farm area's homes and making sure that you're touching those people. You have a midterm nurture, a long-term nurture. You have an open house follow-up. So you have a ton of really great and easy smart plans that all you really have to do is add people to them. Not much editing needed for a lot of these. I'm going to jump back to the library. And I'm going to scroll down a bit. You're going to see what's new. And you're going to see a ton of really cool things that people have done. What I will say is look around, and couple ways that you can actually view some of the things that are in the smart plan is you easily hit right here to the bottom left where it says view steps, and it'll give you what the steps are. So this is a 6-month just looking nurture. So they have add to the monthly neighborhood nurture. Then 21 days later, they have a text message which says, hey there, I know your real estate needs are further off, but I just wanted to make sure that you're getting all the tools and information, so on and so forth. There's 5 different options, 6 different options here for you to choose from. Then day 22 is an email. Did you accidentally sign up? And then day 32 is to repeat the plan. And it actually has it on repeat 5 times, which makes sense why you have 6 options here. So you can choose a different one every time. Now, with that being said, once you're ready to add the smart plan, you just simply have to hit the add button. And you'll see here that it'll include that one additional smart plan. So it's actually a really great opportunity to see if you have it. And if you don't, this will actually say download. Once you hit download, it will turn into this success box. And then you hit download again to download the entire thing. So that's when it's a bundle. So going through the library is probably one of my favorite things to do. I just think that it saves you a lot of time. So I'm going to jump into an existing smart plan that I took from the library. I don't know if you remember seeing that open house follow-up, but I'm going to go ahead and open that. When you are taking smart plans from a library, feel free to copy the right cat, but make sure that it speaks your language. Now, I try to use a lot of humor and sarcasm when I speak, and so that has to kind of reflect who I am, right? You don't want to sound like a robot. Make sure you sound like you. So earlier during the presentation, for that text messaging option, remember we talked about if you do not have Tulio, which I do not, please hit the pencil and make sure that you switch it from automated to a text task. Okay, now just so you can see what this looks like, the task name is send text. The description is the conversation I should be copying and pasting. If there's a hyperlink that I need to click on so I can make sure that I add notes or whatever it is, priority level, making sure that I choose the right one. When is it due? And when should the task be created? Now, this is day one, so it's on day one. And I'm going to hit save changes. When you go to day two, it is a task. So the task name is send an email. And so this, instead of making it a mass email, it's asking you to create it as a one-off email. So a little bit more personal than just doing an email. Now you can actually replace this option if you wanted to by clicking send email. And then you can just copy and paste this. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to copy this description. I'm going to come here and I'm going to hit add step. Oh, not text, sorry. Cancel. There we go. Add step, send email. And I can do it right in here. So now I'm just pasting that. And my subject line is nice to meet you at the open house. Make your edits. I hope you are doing well, and use AI for further dialogue. Okay, that's my opinion on that. Then over here, you can choose, well, what time of day am I sending this email out? Okay, it could be anytime, early morning, morning, afternoon, or evening. I will tell you a lot of people are checking their emails here in this early morning time as well as the evening. So if you ever wanted to do it, you can pick somewhere around there. Just make sure you're not calling people until like after 8 a.m. Hit add step. Now here, this task, because I've replaced it with the physical email that I wanted to just send out, I'm going to go ahead and just hit this garbage can and hit delete. Just make sure if you are doing send email that you are absolutely making it very generic, because it means anybody that is added to the smart plan will receive the same thing. You have day 4, day 7, day 11. So you see the lapses in time between each step. Now this is up to 21 days. Now you see here, it says add to smart plan. I physically added that. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I'm going to come here and I'm going to go to, excuse me, day 18, and I'm going to hit add day. When I hit add day, I'm going to create a little bit of a delay. So I'm going to do about 5 days. And you've got to make sure you hit apply. Sorry. Here we go. Now I'm going to come to the left and I'm going to choose the add smart plan option. Click and drag. There we go. Click and drag. Once you clicked and drag, it's going to ask you, well, what smart plan am I adding them to? And you're going to come down here and, or you're just going to type in. Well, I don't know why I don't have my promote my app, but that's okay. I'm going to do the long-term nurture and do add step. Okay, and then if you wanted to repeat, you can repeat. Now remember those auto add and remove tags or rules? Right here, if you wanted to add any tags, you can go ahead and add them now. Okay, so that way, anytime I tag someone buyer in this example, they will automatically receive this. Now, obviously, for an open house follow-up, you're going to choose like an open house tag, not necessarily buyer. Okay, so that is how to create. Now, again, using the library is absolutely going to be a time saver for you. It's just a lot of the details that really matter, making sure you jump into every single day and every single task that has been added on here to ensure that it speaks your language. Okay, Nancy, I know it's just us two, so I am gonna open this to Q&A. I'm just gonna stop recording.
Okay, I was going to tell you,